Welcome in, everyone. I'm your host, Trusie, and this is Friendly Reminder. For all those who are new and don't know me, my name is Alex. I go by Trusie. I've really been on this new life path. I kept saying God is trying to use me in some kind of way, but I just could not figure out what exactly it was. Just kept saying, I'm going through these things because He wants me to tell this to somebody else, or be a vessel for the ones who are silenced, or speak up for yourself because you've been silenced long enough. I'm just like everybody, sensitive about my shit. This is a very sentimental project for me. I think I've researched this sun up to sundown every day, trying to figure out how I wanted to deliver these messages to you guys. And the only thing I can think of was a visual diary to make it a little bit more interesting. I do want to say that this is very different from me. I am a very private person. And so I felt like this was going to be a real struggle for me because I don't like sharing my information. Even if I share the smallest things, even with people that are close to me, I'm like, what the fuck did I just say? Like, I'm thinking that after I've said it, I'm like, oh, what the hell? You have to touch your vulnerable side in order for you to really feel and be and come across authentic. You have to be vulnerable. I think because I've operated in my masculine for so long, sometimes I forget to, I'm not going to say forget to be feminine, because I don't forget to be feminine, but I think I just sometimes operate more so in my masculine than my feminine. And now I'm learning to be more soft. And this is how I've always wanted to be. And I think because, being in fight or flight for so long, it can make you feel like you need to be on defense mode all the time. And that is what makes you operate in your masculine. I wanted this to be an organic conversation, but I also don't want you to look at this as like another podcast on talking about growing, healing. I want this to be a safe space, an unconventional therapeutic safe space for others to view their, opinions, or if you see something that you feel like is relatable to you in this space, I want you to comment. I want this to be a community that we build together, that we can lean on each other, empower, uplift, and spread the word and bring everybody together. And life is already hard. You transform, and now you need somebody else who's been there or who's going through the same things that you're going through. Yeah, let's get right on into it. First, I want to talk about my spiritual awakening. I don't want to get too political on here, and I'm not going to. I'm only speaking on my experiences, and that's the only thing that I'm going to be speaking on. If they resonate with you, then great. If they don't, that's fine as well. But again, this is my virtual diary. I want to say that during that time, it was more so like an outer body experience. I actually, started researching what is a spiritual awakening. Things that I got from it was after having like a near-death experience, or something traumatic in your life happens, or some kind of traumatic lesson happens, and it causes you to look at yourself in a higher light, to want to change. What I'm saying is, you don't have to be a terrible person to have a spiritual awakening. I feel like a spiritual awakening is more so for people who are natural born leaders, because it makes you wake up in a sense to grasp the lessons that you are currently learning, or that you've learned, and now you're going to showcase it for others and be a walking billboard per se of the lessons that you went through. To say that this is going to define you, no. It's definitely going to give you a new perspective on a lot of things. It's going to make you think a lot more. If you're impulsive, not be so impulsive. If you're an emotional person, it might make you a little bit more logical. I know for me, I'm a Pisces, and we daydream all the time. I remember once it was going on, I felt like I had just zoned out, looking at myself, and I was like, what are you doing? What is this? What are you doing? Like, as soon as I snapped out of it, it's like I went right back into my body. It just seems like right then I had newfound vision, literally right after it happened. Felt like I wanted to clean up my act, which was accepting the bare minimum, not having no self-worth really. I did, but I definitely don't feel like it was as strong as how I view it now. Not having any real boundaries. A whole lot of people pleasing. All at once, it just came to a halt. And I was just like, nope, not happening. It wasn't to say that everything changed right then and there, but I just felt like at that time, God just put his hand on me and was like, come on back up here. Let me go ahead and put you under my wing, because I see you was about to go down the road of destruction. And honestly, I probably was, months prior to then, just trying to find my way. I'm not going to say dating, but, dealing with a situation. I feel like kind of had me in a bad mental space. And it wasn't intentionally, but all the circumstances and all of the things that were happening to me, it was actually happening for me, helping me shape up to be that 30-year-old that I kept asking God to put his hand on. In my last year of my 20s, this past year, I kept saying, God, I want to go into 30 with purpose. I want to go into 30 knowing something, just like a thirst for knowledge, just to be wanted, like by him though, not in a sense of being wanted by my peers. No, no. At 30, could you please just put your hand on me a little firmer? I don't care if it's a damn monkey grip. Put your hand on me, Lord, and tell me what I'm supposed to be doing. How am I supposed to be servicing you? How am I supposed to be servicing others? And I remember that weekend, I hadn't been to church in so long, but I definitely pray every day. Because you believe in God, that don't mean you have to go to church. You know what I'm saying? That's just a church home. You can praise God however you want, whenever. It doesn't matter how it looks. I went to my aunt's church. My son, it was Easter. My son had did a speech, and the preacher had preached about being grateful, things like that. Just remember thinking, this is the time. It is time for me to change my life, like seriously, all the way around. And for the most part, I felt like all my life, I feel like I've been responsible. Like I was kind of coasting through, and I'm just like, find your purpose. Every day I feel like when I'm doing hair is talking to women and, uplifting them, encouraging them, giving them advice on things that I've been through. And because I'm always saying to other people, if I've been through something, why not make your life easier and give you my views or my experiences? You don't have to take that advice. But if you ask me and I've been through it, I don't mind giving you, my input. I felt like that gave me a newfound of purpose in a sense. So once I left church, I had grabbed the Daily Bread little Bible for the year. It looks like this. And you can really order them offline, Our Daily Bread, or you can get them, at the church. They free. Remember, the next day, it was like a ritual just kind of like snowballed. I would wake up in the morning and I would leave it by my toilet. Every morning when I used the bathroom, I would read the message in the morning. And then when I got home in the evening, when I took a shower, if I used the bathroom, I would read it right before I get in the shower to see how it resonated with my day. That in itself became a new ritual for me. And now it's something that I can't go without doing, because for some reason I feel like those messages have been specifically for me. And it's just so funny because some days I'll be like, dang, how did they know? If I read it early in the day, early in the morning, and I'm like, That sounds a little crazy. But by the time the end of my day come and I get back to that toilet, I go, damn, that resonated with me in so many ways. It's never really a day where I could be like, oh, that verse didn't do nothing for me. Yeah, right. Every day it seemed like it did something for me. After that, I picked up the Bible and I started reading the Bible. Now, let me tell you something about me. My family, we went to church, okay? When I was younger, we went to church every Sunday. Didn't miss a Sunday. I was in Sunday school. I was in a choir, everything, okay? I did church events. I was in Girl Scouts, for Christ's sake, okay? I did everything. But for some reason, I never really remember reading the Bible. I remember bits and pieces, but I never remember reading the actual Bible and like actually taking away some of those lessons from the Bible. Once all of this transpired, I'm just trying to figure out ways to get closer to God and feel something like I'm yearning for his love, his affection, something. And so one thing I did forget to tell y'all, when I had woke up the next day, I get on Instagram and I see this girl so random. She is like an advocate for Jesus. And her messages, ooh, they was just hitting me. 6 a.m. I just woke up. I'm in full-fledged tears. Like I feel like I'm just dropping to my knees like, Lord, I don't know what I need to be doing. I know you keep giving me this proposition like, hey, are you ready to follow me now? And I'm just like, yes, I'm ready. Whatever you want me to do. Fast forward, I follow the girl. She puts out a book. The book is amazing. Every message she was writing for the next month, I was just like in tears every time I watched a video because it was just like, it was hitting home for me. And when I started seeing all her messages, I was like, oh, this is confirmation that this is about to happen. This transformation is really about to happen and this is going to be painful. I was literally sitting there thinking about all the things that I really truly needed work on. It was hitting home for me, but she's speaking to you. I need you to understand, baby, you need to get it together. Everything just started snowballing. And prior to my spiritual awakening, I had got rid of a longtime friend, you know, one of my best friends. And, you know, I definitely was feeling like, what is going on? For me to have let go of a best friend of 15 years, I felt like I was going insane because I felt like I was questioning myself a lot, but not even realizing in hindsight that all of this was going down because God had a bigger plan for me. Still is writing this plan. I need you to clear the house, okay, before I start laying these blessings in your lap. And I was just like, but it wasn't resonating with me at that time. At that time, I'm just like, yo, what is going on? I really started thinking like, maybe it's me. And I'm such an overthinker. I start to, you know, like spiral. I will spiral when I start thinking. And so, you know, I'm just like, damn, that made me question one more thing. And then, you know, like with the last situation I was dealing with, like once that happened, I was just like, whoa, hold on now. Okay, I'm losing a lot of people that I thought was supposed to be around for a long time. And God is like, nope. But put your seatbelt on because I ain't done with you. I was like, oh, okay. From that also stemmed new environments, not doing the same things that I was once doing. When you have people in your space that God does not want you to have in your space, especially when you're in the midst of trying to catch blessings, God will slow you down in so many ways. And one will be money, okay? He'll be like, okay, you want to have them people around? Cool. I'll slow your funds down. You won't be able to hang out with these people. Matter of fact, I'll let you get the money to go hang out with these people. And I'll let you see that every time you with these people, your money dwindles down. And when you hang out with these other people, you're going to see your money start flourishing. That made me go, wow. Get still, Alex. And at that time, I really did not even know what that concept of get still was. I just really started saying to myself lately, looking back now, it's literally full circle moments because it's like, wow. You really just needed to get still so you could see what had to go. and what needed to be nurtured, you know. Had to go, your surroundings. What needed to be nurtured? You. And I think that sometimes we do so much for everybody else, we don't even get to the point of realizing it was never you having to give to all these people. You need to give to yourself. Because if you don't give to yourself, how can you continue to pour into other people's cups if your glass is empty? You know, that is something I'm still working on now. I am a heavy giver. I always tell people who are givers, because I know a lot of women who are natural givers. And let's be clear, again, I'm a Pisces. We get natural fulfillment out of giving to others. And that's not to say it has to be material. It could be giving, loving things like cook a meal for you. You don't have to change your heart. You don't have to change who you are. You can be a giver. Just don't give as much. Just make sure that that same energy is reciprocated. We love equal give and take. That's what a healthy relationship is built on. With my spiritual awakening, I, was trying to change the people, places, and the things. And again, the things were other activities to do on the weekends that fulfilled you inside, that make you feel whole or full, or things that you enjoy. Healing an inner child. Finding things that you thrive in. I got a ton of hobbies stemming from going to the gun range, going to pole dancing, meditation, design classes. It ranges. When you finally get a chance to get on your journey and start finding out what you like about yourself, you'll enjoy going out by yourself or doing things by yourself. It's nothing like solitude. I'm telling you, you have to get still and you have to nurture yourself, because a lot of us are wanting relationships, but the number one thing I've always said, I've said this since I was in high school: how can you ask for something from someone if you don't even know what you want? And I said that for so long, but never really realizing that I don't even practice what I preach. And that's why I say, once I turned 30, I was wanting God to slow me down a little bit more so I can really see, like, what do you stand on? Like, what are your non-negotiables? What are your boundaries? What is okay and what is not okay? And I think it just took for me to actually start speaking up for myself, to go, no, I don't like that. Growing up, I had to water myself down. Like, before I went through this whole experience, I was still watering myself down for people, because when I get around certain people, I feel like I don't want them to feel bad because I know how to do such and such. And I'm still learning to get out of my own way. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes all the things that you're thinking is really things that you're projecting onto yourself. Like, it's self-inflicting. It's just the perception you're telling yourself it has to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. That's why I say unconventional therapeutic session here, because I'm no therapist and this is still therapy, and it's unconventional because this is not the normal way of doing it. Again, this is just a safe space. After that comes the shadow work. And when I say shadow work, I think I'm emphasizing more on the unlearning and relearning of your habits, taming that ego. So many, oh my goodness, I really am so tired of saying toxic. I really wish we just get another word. Good gracious. Unlearning and relearning unhealthy ways. Anybody, we all operate in ego, and ego meaning things that we are familiar with. That's why a lot of people sometimes are egotistical, because it's like these are things that they operate in this space. You in your ego again, when you don't want to do something, or you just want to do something a certain way because that's how you used to it, or whatever, and again, I had to unlearn a lot of things that I was used to doing. And it was toxic. It was unhealthy. It was things that was like, no, girl, that's not how we do these things. And I had to learn to start separating myself and getting out my feelings, because the brattier version of me stepping in, like, oh, you can't have it your way? Okay, well, you just gonna get mad about it. And now I don't even get mad no more. God just make sure it all works out in the end. It's like I can get mad about it, or I don't have to get mad about it. But either way, it's still gonna unfold the way He wants it to unfold, not me. So I just literally had to learn patience. Patience is truly a virtue. So yeah, unlearning bad habits and relearning ways that I want to be with people. You know, for a long time, I thought my communication was, I ain't gonna say A1, but I thought it was pretty up to par. Just recently thinking like to myself, like, you know, your communication actually kind of sucked. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of things that I thought that I was voicing and I was not. I'm actually realizing that sometimes when I say things, if I'm not too detailed, certain things can fall in the cracks. I was always screaming communication, transparency, da 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 da. You know, and it was like, no, I'm hollering for that, but I couldn't do that because for so long I felt my voice was restricted. I felt silenced a lot of the time, especially with men. I've also learned that I'm a lot more anxious now that I'm getting older. So I have to meditate. I have to get at least 30 minutes a day. Have to. Because if not, I'm on edge. I'm stressed. Not going to put my best foot forward. And it's just like a ripple effect. I have a bad day, I'm putting that off on somebody else. Then they might have a bad day, they putting that off on somebody else, you know. And I always say be aware of your energy rays. They come off really strong sometimes. And if you're not aware of what you're putting out, you could be putting out some bad energy. I will say, you know, after trying to relearn some better habits, also, you know, incorporating some new routines. New routines for me were, you know, going to the gym. That's probably like my number one thing is going to the gym. I have to start my day with the workout because that sets the tone for the day. I don't care what nobody say. I can wake up at 5 or I can wake up at 4:30, go to the gym, and then all of a sudden I have a burst of energy. Some Saturdays I just want to rest because that is the only time that I get to, you know, really recharge like I want to. And meditating, of course. Meditating has been something that I found to be a tremendous help. You know, your breathing technique in itself is going to be something that puts you back on the map. It's going to open you up. It's going to make you feel just different. You know what I'm saying? It's going to give you a different outlook on certain things. It's going to make you really just sit for a second and be one with yourself. You know, because how often are we one with ourselves? Not often. We might get a split second in the bathroom, but honestly, you need to be outside. That is how you're going to get a lot of your creative juices flowing. That's how you're going to just get really grounded with earth. Literally being outside, getting one with nature. Meditation has played a heavy role with me. And I can't say that I'm mad about it at all. I needed every bit of it. But the things that I feel like I'm still working on, because I want to say that this is like a part of shadow work, but it's really not because, well, it is still technically shadow work, but I'm still actively doing these things. Being more boisterous, listening to myself, having patience, getting more still, being aware of my energy that I put off on other people, being more vulnerable, taking more accountability, communicating more, being more transparent. Everything is a work in progress. Being able to do certain work, you have to speak up. And I know sometimes it can be a lot easier to be passive, but in order for you to really grow, especially grow your inner child, you definitely have to speak up more. And I feel like for so long, for so many years, I felt like I was silenced. I couldn't never really speak what I wanted to say because I didn't want to make people upset. I didn't want them to feel any kind of way. I wanted us to be, you know, good, copacetic. And in reality now I'm just like, I don't care. I don't care how that makes you feel. I don't want to say I don't care how that makes you feel. I'm going to say I don't desire to put your feelings ahead of mine anymore. You know, I feel like I've nurtured a lot of grown people, and a lot of people have not returned the feeling. And that's not to say I want you to kiss up to me or any kind of way, but You got to understand when your time is up. Can't no longer get anything else out of the situation. When your hands is tied, you just got to be like, hey, okay, you know what? We're going to wash our hands with this and we're going to call it. We're going to call it. That's it. Like I said, just learning to get more boisterous, speaking up. You don't always have to be passive. You don't always have to give an opinion, but don't feel like you can't give that opinion, if that's making sense. Let people know that you stand on business. It's okay sometimes to ruffle a little feathers. Sometimes it's okay to go against the wave. Discernment, this is like the biggest one for me. Speaking up was a big one for me too, being more boisterous, but discernment. I don't know how many times I can actually say I can look back in my life in general and be like, ooh, I seen, like visibly seen and felt when God was saying like, nope, and I did it anyway. I praise God every day that it was never nothing big or serious for me to be like, oh damn, I wish I would have listened. But I ain't gonna lie to you, it definitely has been things that felt like I got a little whooping. It was like, damn it, you knew better, but you still didn't do better. You knew better, but you didn't do better. And so that's what I'm learning now. And it's like, sometimes that also falls in the category of being more patient, you know what I'm saying, and getting still. Because the more you exercise your patience and being still, you can actually hear yourself loud and clear. You don't have to go, God, give me one more sign. You don't have to do all of that, because when you're quiet, you're still, and you're really paying attention, logic over emotion, you can really see and hear and feel what God is trying to tell you, or the universe is trying to tell you. I think that, we don't, as humans, pay attention to certain things. And I was just talking to a medium, that's somebody who reads energy, cards and stuff, like, telling me, like, strengthening my abilities. He's like, you need to pay attention to how you feel when certain things happen, or if something happens when certain things arise. Like, pay attention. How does that make you feel? And that made me think back to what I tell my clients. Don't go off what somebody tell you. Go off how they make you feel. When you're with them, how do you feel? Do your nervous system go into overdrive? Or are you relaxed and you on pilot and you cruising? How are you feeling with them? Because people can say anything, but you'll definitely feel them before you hear them if you get in tune with yourself. And that's not even just a woman thing, that's a in general thing. And because I'm not so reactive anymore, you think you've gotten one up on me, or you think that I'm green, or that you can get away with certain things with me. And that's fine, because I'll let you think that. But at the end of the day, I've already felt your energy. I've already sorted you out. And I give multiple chances without even saying a word. I always want to go, I want to make sure I read that situation right. Or I want to make sure that it wasn't me and it wasn't, it wasn't them. I'm always constantly giving people chances. And I feel like now I'm getting to a point where it's like, no, go with your gut the first time. In general, whether it's a girl group or a guy or whatever, if your gut has already told you no, straight up no, why are we still here? Why are we still entertaining these thoughts? So wrap it up. Vulnerability. I'm working extremely hard on that, especially with my loved ones. I'm learning to be more free, and in a sense, being more feminine, being in my soft era. And I hate to say soft era, because every woman I feel needs to be soft. Come on now, that is a woman. But I feel like the times growing up, you think that you have to be a strong black woman, and you have to be strong in a relationship, strong as a mother, a sister, a brother, whatever. We neglect being vulnerable when we are being those other things. And I think that in your journey, it's going to be so important for you to stay vulnerable, throughout each stage, and it's okay to feel certain things. A lot of the time we try to bypass these life lessons and go, okay, whatever, I learned that lesson, okay, I'm boxed that up and gone on about my business. Like, no. Sometimes it's great to sit in those emotions, feel those emotions, be vulnerable. You can express it if you want to. If you don't want to express it to somebody else, journal it. Read it back on another day. How have I changed since the last time I journaled? How has my views on this changed since the last time I journaled? Definitely help with growing pains, for sure. I've thought for a long time, like, oh, I don't really want to sit here and write all this stuff out. But honestly, I feel so much better after I've written it out. I read it back to myself. I feel so much better. I've gotten it off my chest. Didn't necessarily have to tell anyone, but I got it off my chest. I wrote it out, like physically doing something. If you know an easy way to remember to do something, you keep writing it out. That's how you remember something. And same with journaling. The more that you're being vulnerable as you're journaling, that's going to help you once you actually get to the stage of actually reciting it. Practice in the mirror if you need to. Practice. Just talk to yourself. It's not abnormal. Everybody talks to themselves. Accountability. You got to have accountability when on your journey. I feel like a lot of people don't want to say they have a hand in a lot of situations that they created. I'm currently feeling like a lot of situations that I went through, I could never double back, and I could never actually revisit and feel like I want to genuinely repair these relationships because they lack accountability. Because do you not know that lifelong people that stay in your life all stems from accountability and vulnerability, just communication. You make solid foundations for people because all you can do is be yourself. Let them decide if they want to work with you or if they want to wash their hands with it. You can't make everybody get on the wagon of forgive the newer version of myself. Some people have reservations. Some people like, hey, I don't believe people change. But I'm going to be honest to you. I'm walking testimony that people change, okay? People change, baby. So, just stay optimistic. That's what I do want to say. We are here to uplift each other, to realize that certain shit we're just not going for no more. So once you actually have your awakening, and I pray that, once you get still and you decide, I'm not going for none of this BS anymore, that's when you will clearly see it'll be time to transition and operate in your higher self. You know what I'm saying? Please tap in with yourselves, okay? Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So join the community. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Tune in next Tuesday. We'll be back every Tuesday at 8 p.m. We are going to be here downstairs in my office talking that shit. Have a good night, y'all.